Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today, we will learn about the scorching scandals and betrayals exploding in Port Charles from November 24th to December 5th. General Hospital devotees, steel your nerves for a fortnight of pulse-racing drama that will shatter alliances and ignite lifelong grudges across the iconic town. Michael Corinthos unleashes a volcanic temper that could torch his entire world. As Britt Westburn reels from revelations so vile they turn her stomach inside out. Harrison Chase and Brooklyn Quartermain stagger under a staggering bombshell, while secrets from bloody trunks and hasty body dumps threaten to bury key players alive. This preview dives deep into the mayhem, unpacking every layer of deception with fresh insights into character psyches and plot pivots that redefine loyalties forever. Kicking off the fireworks in the week of November 24th to 28th, Sonny Corinthos deploys his legendary charisma like a weapon, cornering Laura Collins in a shadowy backroom huddle to hammer home why spilling the beans to authorities spells utter ruin. He recounts in vivid detail how Professor Henry Hank Dalton met his grim fate shoved into her vehicle trunk in a haze of panic, only for Jason Morgan to whisk the evidence away into the night like a ghost. Laura, her mayor's poise cracking under the moral avalanche, wrestles with visions of jail bars versus the greater good, but ultimately clamps her jaw shut, forging a pact of silence that binds them in dangerous complicity. Yet cracks form fast. Stray gossip from dockside informants hints at trunk stains and hurried cleanups, positioning Laura as a ticking time bomb whose confession could topple empires. Britt Westburn, the ice queen of diagnostics, soon absorbs a torrent of nauseating intel on Jen Sidwell's sadistic ploy against Laura. Details so grotesque they propel her into a rare fury unmatched in Port Charles history. Envision Britt slamming charts down in the GH break room, face twisted as she deciphers Sidwell's handiwork, maybe doctored surveillance footage showing Laura in a fabricated rage, or coerced confessions from shadowy operatives painting her as a cold-blooded schemer. This repulsion surges beyond mere disgust. It's a clarion call for Britt to weaponize her intellect, launching covert probes that unearth Sidwell's ties to international fixers or personal vendettas from Laura's mayoral foes. Could this web ensnare Britt herself, forcing a showdown where scalpels meet street smarts? The stakes skyrocket, blending medical intrigue with thriller-level suspense. Jason Morgan, the stone-cold operative with a heart buried under layers of duty, mounts a relentless campaign to pierce Britt's fortress of doubt, staging intimate interventions amid the chaos. In a rain-slicked Quartermain boathouse, he lays bare his soul-recounting bullet-dodging escapades they survived together, vowing his shield against Sidwell's poison. Britt parries with razor-sharp retorts, her trust eroded by years of double crosses, yet flickers of old sparks ignite in stolen glances, hinting at a rekindled flame fanned by peril. External pressures mount. Intercepted messages suggest Sidwell targets their bond necks, testing if Jason's unyielding resolve can thaw her freeze or fracture them irreparably in a storm of mistrust. Meanwhile, Jocelyn, Jax, and Vaughn surrender to a forbidden blaze, their heated trysts in concealed penthouse nooks pulsing with reckless abandon whispered promises amid tangled sheets. But Jack Brennan, the hawk-eyed manipulator with a nose for vulnerability, prowls too close. A creaky floorboard or muffled gasp could expose them, triggering a cascade of fallout from blackmail to fractured friendships. Jocelyn's thrill morphs into terror, her Jack's lineage clashing with raw desire, while Vaughn grapples with loyalties torn between passion and peril. Envision frantic cover stories unraveling under Brennan's grill, potentially derailing Jocelyn's college dreams and Vaughn's shadowy ops in one fell swoop. Drew Kane escalates his romantic siege, kneeling anew before Willow Tate in a candle-flickered GH chapel with a diamond that screams commitment amid her legal doom, framing matrimony as a masterstroke leniency pleas bolstered by spousal testimony. Courtroom optics flipped, he weaves tales of shared futures shielding her from iron bars. Nina Reeves teeters on confession's precipice, her media mogul facade crumbling. In a vodka-fueled soliloquy at the Metro Court Bar, she might blurt how wedding Drew secures Willow's liberty. A Machiavellian mercy born from guilt over past sins against the Tate clan. This admission ripples, exposing Nina's chessboard maneuvers where love masks strategy, priming explosions in every family tree. Michael Corinthos' infamous fuse ignites spectacularly post-proposal, his Quartermaine boardroom erupting if Willow slips that ring-on visions of Drew as Fox patriarch to his heirs, fueling a berserker rage. Michael storms elk halls, fists clenched, decrying the ploy as a predatory grab for his bloodline and legacy, perhaps tailing Drew to clandestine meets or rallying Carly for sabotage. Drew's potential gloat smirking over power plays and stepdad perks in a tense Corinthos compound standoff pours gasoline, escalating to physical shoves or leaked scandals that pit brother against brother in a war scarring generations. Harrison Chase and Brooke Lynn Quartermaine, nursing their electric chemistry, absorb a gut punch shock that halts hearts mid-beat, possibly eavesdropping on Willow Drew vows redux or unearthing Dalton trunk files in a Quartermaine safe. Brooke Lynn's diva fire flares, tiling crisis mode with operatic phone tirades, while Chase's badge instincts flare, piecing clues into a mosaic of conspiracy. Their duo evolves here, late-night stakeouts blending flirtation with forensics, revealing Brooke Lynn's hidden sleuth savvy and Chase's soft spot. But the revelation strains their spark. Will it forge steel or shatter glass? Nathan West blindsides Dante Falconeri with jaw-unhinging news over black coffee at the PCPD bullpen, likely cracking Dalton's vanishing puzzle while torching Rocco Falconeri's legal shackles for good. Dandy's paternal joy surges, imagining family barbecues free of court dates, but skepticism lingers amid Port Charles' liar labyrinth, prompting deeper dives into phantom leads. This breakthrough spotlights Nathan's resurrection arc, mending Falconeri fractures while dangling hooks. Does it expose larger syndicates or boomerang onto Danny's beat? Portia Robinson unravels in sterile hospital halls, her alibi fraying like cheap thread under scrutiny, time-stamped logs clashing with witness fuzz. Fresh horrors compound. Anonymous tips of tampered meds or vengeful expatients circling, thrusting Portia into paranoia where every intern's glance screams betrayal. Her chief of staff armor buckles, blending pro saves with personal sieges in a high-wire act of deception and dread. Stella Henry pirouettes from sonogram ecstasy, cooling over tiny heartbeats at a linen-draped Ashford bistro with Curtis to volcanic outrage when a gate-crashing pest disrupts. This interloper, perhaps a snide Spencer-kin dredging slavery-era beefs, or a casino rival with Dr. Debts, strikes Stella's raw nerves, unleashing barrages that shatter wine glasses. Curtis plays referee amid flying napkins, exposing fault lines in their reconciliation. Stella's zeal for grandbabies clashing with grudges, forging uneasy truces laced with fallout. Heads up, GH faithful. Episodes pause Thursday, November 27th and Friday, November 28th for turkey feasts, ratcheting tension to infernal heights before the deluge. December 1st to 5th unleashes pristine installments, brimming with seismic shifts. Willow Drew's pact potentially hurtling toward shotgun nuptials, be it Vegas neon or lakeside haste to preempt trial hammers. Drew masterminds with vet precision, vows as verdict armor, painting domestic bliss to sway judges, while Willow weighs chains against chains of gold, internal monologues torn between Michael's ghost and survival's siren song. Lucas Jones plunge into Windermere's Gothic Mall, unleashes pandemonium, creaking turrets, phantom footsteps echoing Casadini curses, spectral orbs haunting alcoves. Jocelyn morphs guardian angel, dispatching drones over battlements and grilling groundskeepers on poltergeist lore, her dread amplifying with each blood moon sighting. Unearthed diaries whisper of Helena's hexes or Nicola's live burial vibes, positioning Lucas as bait in a supernatural snare. Carly Corinthos' charade with Jack Brennan crumbles under bile, his leering innuendos now curdled acid on her skin, every forced kiss a gag reflex in opulent sweets. Brennan's ego sniffs phoniness via micro-expressions or dodge dances, countdown ticking to eruption. A pilfered phone log or ally slip unleashing his wrath, thrusting Carly into abyss where seduction flips to survival. Next, we will learn about the shocking heart attack that struck Ned Quartermaine and the explosive family chaos it could unleash across Port Charles. Last week, the Quartermaine patriarch Ned Quartermaine collapsed in agony from a devastating heart attack, clutching his chest amid whispers of corporate stress and hidden family betrayals at the sprawling Quartermaine mansion. Yet, in a classic General Hospital twist, the cameras have swerved away from his hospital bed, fixating instead on the daring escapade of young Rocco Falconeri, Danny Morgan, and Charlotte Casadini as they stealthily infiltrate Professor Henry Hank Dalton's high-security lab, dodging lasers and uncovering vials of mysterious serums that could rewrite their futures. This diversion leaves loyal viewers on the edge of their seats, pondering if Ned's brush with death is being buried under teen drama or primed for a seismic return that shatters the Quartermaine dynasty. Picture the sterile ICU beeps fading into the background while lab alarms blare. Will Ned's survival hang in the balance? Or is this the setup for a personality swap more dramatic than any lab experiment? Fans speculate that lingering effects from past traumas, like suppressed memories of Elk boardroom battles or Olivia's endless pleas, might trigger something irreversible when he regains consciousness. As the dust settles from this medical emergency, the real terror brews in Wattor, who emerges from Ned's coma, potentially dragging the Quartermaine clan into uncharted emotional territory. He might defy the odds and rally back to full strength, barking orders at Monica and Tracy like old times, but the chilling possibility looms that Eddie Main, his wild rock star alter ego from decades of buried rock and roll glory, claws his way to the surface once more. Imagine Eddie strumming an air guitar in the hospital room, oblivious to her drips. As nurses scatter in confusion, this isn't just a relapse, it's a full-blown identity crisis that could torch Ned's carefully rebuilt life. For Olivia Quartermaine, the devoted wife who's weathered every storm from poolside falls to infidelity scandals, this resurrection spells heartbreak, forcing her to relive the agony of loving a ghost in her husband's body. And the Quartermaine family? Expect Michael to clash with Jason over control of ELQ shares, while Tracy schemes to declare Ned incompetent, painting a vivid tableau of greed, grief, and guitars echoing through the mansion halls. Brooklyn Quartermaine stands on the precipice of her own domestic disaster, desperately needing her father's steady hand just as her world crumbles from an unexpected angle. The rising star of deception is consumed by wedding bliss, with Harrison Chase to foresee the storm brewing from his secretive probe into Willow Tate's controversial shooting of Drew Kane, where forensic clues like mismatched bullet casings and shadowy witness statements point to a frame job. Chase's dogged pursuit, fueled by late-night stakeouts and encrypted texts from unreliable sources, risks reigniting sparks with his ex-wife Willow, now free from prison and radiating vulnerability in those post-release coffee shop encounters. Envision Brooklyn walking in on a charged hug, her designer gown from their recent nuptials now a symbol of shattered vows. Chase's loyalty to Willow could unravel their marriage faster than a botched Elk merger. In this maelstrom, Ned or Eddie becomes her lifeline, offering tough love or rockstar rebellion to mend her broken heart, perhaps even pulling strings at the PCPD to expose the real shooter and salvage her happily ever after. Ned's past fall echoes loudly. Flashback to that fateful plunge into the Metro Court pool a couple of years ago, when Ned's watery resurrection birthed Eddie Main, the leather-jacketed crooner whose comeback divided fans like a bad chord progression. No longer the slick executive in his prime, this 60s-era Eddie stumbled through Port Charles with outdated charm, alienating allies and amplifying family fractures in ways that felt forced and forgettable. Brooklyn, far from a background player, was the emotional core. Her tear-streaked face during awkward father-daughter dinners captured the void left by Ned's absence, as she juggled music deals and heartaches without his guidance. Olivia bore the heaviest burden, her fiery Italian spirit cracking under the weight of Eddie's wandering eyes and amnesiac indifference, culminating in explosive confrontations where she hurled wedding albums at motel walls, demanding her husband's return. This storyline's fallout lingers, with added layers like suppressed therapy sessions revealing Ned's subconscious rock urges triggered by high-stakes Q family holidays, setting the stage for Olivia to draw a hard line now. Olivia's breaking point nears. Olivia Quartermain's resilience is legendary, from dodging mob hits to outsmarting Carly in custody wars, but another Eddie takeover might push her over the edge into uncharted fury. Last time, she endured public humiliations like Eddie serenading barmaids while she nursed hangovers alone, clinging to faded photos of their Hawaiian vow renewals for solace. Now, with Ned's heart monitor flatlining in her mind's eye, she's steeling for battle, possibly consulting Port Charles' top neurologists for experimental memory blockers, or even enlisting Spinelli to hack medical records for prevention clues. Her nights are haunted by visions of packing bags for Bensonhurst, whispering to Lois on late-night calls about starting fresh away from the mansion's ghosts. If Eddie awakens strumming Lois Cirulo tunes, Olivia's ultimatum could echo through ELQ boardrooms: choose her or the stage. With divorce papers drafted faster than a Quartermain scandal hits Soap Central, Lois Cirulo's shadow looms. Yet, the siren call of nostalgia pulls focus to Lois Cirulo, whose sizzling chemistry with Eddie Main last electrified screens and ignited fan campaigns for a full reunion tour. Port Charles buzzed when she jetted back from her music exec gig, their duet rehearsals sparking rumors of off-screen magic despite real-life exes Wally Kurth and Rena Sofer navigating awkward kisses with pro-chemistry. Fans devoured every glance, every shared latte at Kelly's, dreaming of a mature redo minus the Vegas elopement pitfalls that doomed their 90s romance. But reality bit hardwriters shied from physicality amid their amicable divorce history, leaving sparks fizzling into friendship bracelets. This time, with Lois fresh off a career hiatus for a high-profile label deal in New York, her return feels improbable. Yet imagine a twist. A charity concert invite pulls her back, only for Eddie to serenade her on stage, ripping open old wounds while Olivia fumes in the wings. No passionate rekindling awaits. Instead, it amplifies tensions, with Brooklyn begging Lois to talk sense into her dadzilla before family therapy implodes. In the end, General Hospital masterfully tees up Ned's survival as the linchpin for Quartermain redemption, urging writers to let him wake as the patriarch fans adore, strategic, sarcastic, and solidly in Olivia's embrace. Chase's Willow obsession threatens Brooklyn's stability, demanding Ned's wisdom to navigate the fallout, while Eddie's ghost risks fracturing alliances built over decades of drama. Next, we will learn about the chilling murder cover-up unfolding at the eerie Windermere estate on Spoon Island, where unsuspecting Lucas Jones is walking straight into a deadly trap. Lucas's risky move to a cursed mansion. In a decision that has fans gasping, Lucas Jones has eagerly agreed to Marco Rios's invitation to shack up at Windermere alongside Marco's dangerously charismatic father, Jen Sidwell, turning the infamous Spoon Island into Port Charles' hottest new hotspot for heartbreak and horror. This gothic pile of stones, long synonymous with ghostly whispers, forbidden secrets, and tragic fates, now welcomes Lucas with open arms or perhaps hidden daggers as he trades his safe life for what he imagines is romantic bliss. Picture the scene: creaking floorboards underfoot, shadows dancing from candlelight in the grand halls, and an undercurrent of malice that no amount of charm can mask. Lucas, blinded by love, overlooks the estate's bloody history from vampires to vanishing heirs, adding fresh intrigue. Whispers among the staff suggest Jens has renovated the East Wing specifically to lure in fresh blood, installing antique mirrors that allegedly reflect hidden truths and locked attics stuffed with relics from past cover-ups, ignoring dire warnings from loved ones. Despite urgent red flags waved by his fiercely protective friend Carly Corinthos, who senses the Sidwell duo's ulterior motives from miles away, Lucas dives headfirst into this haunted romance, his heart overriding every instinct screaming danger. Carly's pleas echo recent near misses in Port Charles, where Spoon Island has devoured the innocent like a ravenous beast, yet Lucas brushes them off as overprotectiveness. Eager for a fresh start with Marco, Van Hansis, the actor breathing life into Lucas, dished exclusively to Soap Opera Digest about his character's rosy outlook. Jens exudes this irresistible British sophistication, think perfectly brewed teas, witty banter over scones, and an air of old-world elegance that melts away any lingering doubts Lucas might harbor. Hansis elaborated on set, revealing how Lucas views the move as a glamorous escape, akin to checking into a luxury villa rather than a notorious death trap, with Marco promising moonlit walks along the jagged cliffs and cozy fireside evenings that mask the estate's sinister pulse. A fresh murder freshly erased before arrival. Tragedy strikes mere moments before Lucas and Marco cross the threshold for their inaugural night together. As the devious fake butler, Pascal feverishly erases every trace of carnage from the opulent living room, transforming a slaughterhouse into a pristine parlor worthy of a welcome act. In the explosive November 20th episode, Jens Sidwell unleashes a single, silenced shot that fells the treacherous Professor Henry Hank Dalton, who dared to betray his boss by leaking classified schemes about Windemere's underground lab's rumored sites for illicit experiments, blending Port Charles tech with ancient island curses. Blood pooled like crimson rivers across Persian rugs, staining priceless heirlooms. But Pascal's mop work is masterful. He deploys industrial cleaners, swaps out blood-soaked cushions with identical spares from the basement, and even airs out the room with fogged windows to dissipate any metallic tang. Newly imagined details heighten the peril. Hank's final gasp left a cryptic note clutched in his hand, hinting at Jens's plot to control key PC families, now hastily burned in the massive hearth, its ashes scattered into the stormy Spoon Island winds. Blissful ignorance in a house of horrors. Without supernatural senses or a keen nose for gunpowder, Lucas remains utterly clueless to the fresh slaughter mere feet from his new love nest. Perceiving Windemere as a playful paradise rather than a powder keg primed to explode, Hansis paints a vivid picture of Lucas's denial, noting Marco's role in shielding him. Marco's devotion keeps Lucas blissfully uninformed about dear old dad's murderous streak. To him, it's all sun-drenched romance, like frolicking in a celebrity reality show mansion with ocean views and zero drama. Layering support into this illusion, Lucas's aunt and ex-roomie Ava Jerome cheers the union from afar, sharing tips on island survival, like avoiding the treacherous boathouse at night, contrasting Carlyle's doom and gloom prophecies. Yet cracks loom, faint chemical whiffs linger, odd thumps echo from walls, and Pascal's overly zealous polishing raises subtle eyebrows, planting seeds for Lucas's eventual awakening amid candlelit dinners that taste faintly of cover-up. Jens Sidwell's twisted psyche exposed. Beneath Jens Sidwell's polished veneer lurks a profoundly deranged soul, a master manipulator whose silver tongue conceals a hair-trigger temper and a zero-tolerance policy for disloyalty, making him Windemere's most volatile resident since the Casa Dini reign of terror. Port Charles insiders speculate Jens's accent hides a darker past, perhaps exiled from London's underworld for similar hits, forcing him to import henchmen like Pascal, trained in forensics evasion from shadowy academies. Hansis teases escalating chaos ahead. Expect bizarre occurrences to ramp up soon, unexplained shadows and mirrors, doors slamming on their own, whispers calling names in the dead of night that push Lucas closer to forbidden discoveries. Invented depth reveals Jens's ritualistic habits. He toasts each problem solved with rare scotch from a locked bar cart, engraving victim initials on silver goblets stored in the tower, a macabre trophy case Lucas must never breach. Imminent mansion mayhem targets the innocent. Sizzling General Hospital spoilers forecast a whirlwind of wicked antics erupting within Windemere's walls, thrusting naive Lucas into the epicenter of Sidwell-fueled frenzy, where one wrong peek could seal his fate faster than a falling gargoyle. Marco's genuine affection clashes violently with Jens's eliminationist ethos, proven by Hank's demise and past purges of nosy rivals involving staged accidents off the cliffs or poisoned chalices during high society galas. Fans buzz about potential twists, Pascal slipping up with a blood-flecked cufflink, or Lucas stumbling upon Hank's hidden safe revealing Jens's ledgers of Port Charles blackmail. Hansis warns of the tower as ground zero, a vertigo-inducing spire packed with surveillance gear and escape hatches where Jens retreats to plot, imploring Lucas to steer clear. As alliances fray and bodies pile, this love triangle morphs into a lethal quadrangle, with Ava's encouragement unwittingly drawing her back into the fray. Tune in daily as Spoon Island's secrets spill like blood on marble, questioning if Lucas escapes with his heart or his life intact.